We wrap up our first hour of web chats here with Michael Miner, senior coordinating producer of BYU TV Sports, and my boss will be kind to him with the questions that you send in. Pretty cool. Second straight year to be able to host this kind of an event here at the BYU Broadcasting Building.
It's thrilling, you know, to think that just a year ago we were doing this in the inaugural National Media Day, declaring BYU's independence. It just seems like time has sped up on us, and it's just thrilling to be back here again doing it, and really looking forward to the day's events. I think the fans and the media are both going to really enjoy what we have in store.
We kicked off the 2011-2012 year with Media Day, so kind of put a bow on that. What was sports coverage like for BYU TV in the past year?
I think the best word to describe it is unprecedented. Over 135 live events. Of course, that started with football, and our ability to package football to a national audience with our broadcast partner ESPN was crucial to that. And then we enhanced that by rolling out the live pregame shows and the postgame shows. And again, the only word that I can describe for that is unprecedented. I don't know of another university that's doing that, where they have a dedicated 1-hour pregame show that really gives fans a flavor of what it's like to be in the stadium prior to the game. And then once the game is done, you know, we break it down and analyze it. So if you're a Cougar fan, a BYU fan, you really get a really strong helping of dedicated BYU football coverage, and then that extends throughout the year into basketball and our Olympic sports coverage as well.
You mentioned the relationship with ESPN. You've now been on both sides of it, because you were here and then you went a few places. Was it ESPN, then you came here? What's that relationship like?
It's strong and it's collaborative. We talk to ESPN quite often and make sure that we're in sync with each other. Having Trevor Maddich here that you just saw on the webcast, that's an indication of how strong our relationship is with ESPN, that we can bring in a qualified voice like Trevor to come in, especially with the news of the day on the college football landscape changing and that possible impact on BYU, and to have Trevor here as part of that and being able to speak as a representative of the national media and specifically ESPN is an indicator of how strong our relationship is with ESPN, and so we're very grateful for that.
Solid handful of games for this year have been announced that they will be on ESPN. What's BYU TV's plans for covering football in 2012?
Well, as part of our contractual relationship, we're guaranteed to have one game at least that is dedicated to BYU TV live, and we know what game that's going to be already. It's going to be September 8th with the Weber State game, and we're really looking forward to that. It's an in-state rivalry, so it'll be a great opportunity for us to showcase what BYU TV is all about. We have some surprises for fans this year as we ramp up our production quality a little bit more than we even had last year. We'll talk a little bit about that in the State of the Program coming up. Derek Marquis, who oversees BYU TV, will actually debut some of the new graphic elements that we're going to roll out this year that I think BYU fans will be really pleased to see. So we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to the rest of the schedule and how it lays out, and see if there are any other games that will be remaining for us to televise. But the headline is BYU gets national exposure on television through BYU TV and through ESPN. And again, that's almost unprecedented. I think there were only 5 teams last year that were on national TV more than BYU. And that's a pretty good headline for BYU fans.
The TV schedule is starting to fill out. Last year, the Oregon State game, we didn't know until the week of who was going to televise that. There's some away games this year as well that currently don't have TV plans. Is there a possibility for BYU TV to get rights to some of those games?
Yeah, one of the things that we did learn last year, and Oregon State is a perfect example of that, is anything can happen with the schedule, and we need to be poised and nimble enough to respond to that. Oregon State, I've been in this business for over 25 years. I've never seen anything like that, quite honestly, how that came together and the collaboration that was necessary between BYU TV, the Pac-10 then, which has now become the Pac-12, and Oregon State and BYU, to put all that together in the short amount of time that we did, which was about a week, and then pull it off as well as we did, was really a testament to where we've come as an organization and as an institution. And I think anyone who watched that game will validate that it was quite an accomplishment and a really good broadcast that we were very proud of.
So given the opportunity, could just do it again this year?
Sure we could. Sure we could. I mean, there's a lot of talent here. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to come back from ESPN to be here. I'm really impressed with the talent here. I'm very impressed with the facilities, and the opportunity to mentor students in that situation is huge to us. That's the thing that we should point out to fans that watch BYU TV Sports, that a lot of what we do involves our students, and giving them an opportunity to get involved in sports broadcasting is a huge component of and a huge initiative for what we're doing. So we're ready for anything they want to throw at us. Bring it on.
A big question that you and I have talked about and tweeted it from at Benjamin G. Linus. Any plans to get BYU TV in HD on satellite?
It's the other big initiative. It's the huge elephant in the room for us. We understand that people want to see us in HD. I certainly understand that. After watching sports in HD, I wouldn't ever want to go back to watching it in standard definition. So it's very top of mind for us. One thing that we should point out is you can watch BYU in HD even if it's not over the air in HD. You can watch it HD through devices like Roku boxes and Apple TV online, and it looks very good. I have a couple of Apple TV boxes myself at home, and I'm really surprised at the quality of that. But beyond that, we have a huge initiative, and part of that is on the fans, quite honestly. If you're not seeing BYU TV in HD wherever you happen to live around the country, and take the opportunity to call your local provider and indicate to them, that you would like to see it in HD. And that's really what they're looking for, is what kind of demand is there for this channel to be shown in HD, because they have just so much capacity, and so they have to determine whether there's enough demand for that to happen. So the fans can really help with that initiative, and you'll hear much more about that in our live shows today.
Social media is really changing the sports viewing experience. How is BYU TV on board with social media initiatives?
I like to think we're ahead of the curve with it. Anyone who watched Media Day last year knows that we did involve social media from the very beginning. With our first live show, we had what we call a ticker or a crawl going across the bottom of the show. And it was something that we talked strategically about, making sure that the fans were involved from a social media standpoint in what was going on with Media Day. And then we rolled that out into the season and involved social media, Twitter, and Facebook into our live event programming when we could, and into True Blue. And I think what you're going to see this year is much more of that. We recognize that social media is the looming beast out there, especially for sports, and we want to stay ahead of the curve with that. Everyone in the sports broadcasting industry is talking about the value of the second screen experience, which is social media, and how well that plays to sports in general. And so we're going to be way ahead of the curve. And again, I think, to throw a little tease out there, fans just should stay tuned to see how we incorporate that into our sports broadcasts this year, both online and on air.
With the increased coverage of football specifically, but all the sports, you had to increase your talent pool. Who can fans expect to see covering football this year?
Well, we're very happy with our talent pool the way it is, and obviously we're delighted that Dave McCann will continue to be one of our primary play-by-play voices, and his relocation from Las Vegas to Utah with KSL TV makes that even more convenient for us, and we really appreciate KSL and their willingness to create a working model that allows access to Dave. And so you're going to continue to see Dave be the primary voice of BYU and the Cougars on BYU TV. In addition to that, I think you're going to see more of very talented people like Blaine Fowler Alemma Harrington will still be part of our group, and all of our analysts that we've had both on our football broadcasts, our pregame shows, and then on into our Olympic coverage yourself. You do a tremendous job on the sidelines, and we have big plans for you again this year.
Oh, thanks.
And your play-by-play coverage that you do on the Olympic sports. And so that's one of the things that we're very proud of with BYU-TV is our stable of talent and the level of quality of our talent, and that's going to continue to increase.
You're coming to South Bend with me, right?
I am.
All right, good.
Is
that the game you're looking forward to the most this year?
Yeah, I think it's certainly a game that we have to circle on the schedule, especially with BYU's independence. It's a game that BYU really has to make a statement in order to establish and continue to establish credibility nationally. And so certainly to be able to go into South Bend and have a good showing there for BYU is critical. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game.
Now, this first hour of web chats that we've done is just the first hour of many live hours of programming today. 16 hours of programming total devoted to BYU football today on BYU TV. In a few minutes, we're going to head over into Studio C for the state of the program, kind of set the stage for BYU TV's coverage of Media Day today.
Well, it's wall to wall. It started early this morning with some tape programming that we had, and now the web chats, and we're about to go live in Studio C with our State of the Program, which will be a really good opportunity for fans to hear from Tom Homo and Bronco Mendenhall and Derek Marquis, who oversees BYU TV, and really get a good barometer on where the program does stand, and some reaction to the new college football playoff system, of course, and how that impacts BYU. And then we'll continue the web chats throughout the afternoon. We've got a True Blue special that airs right after that State of the Program. That's at 11 Mountain Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. And so we want to encourage you to watch that, because that's a preview of the football program that includes some of the players, including Riley Nelson, and you'll want to hear what he has to say. Kyle Van Noy had a great comment that you'll want to watch about the BYU-Utah rivalry. And so we just encourage fans to watch our entire schedule of programming. And one thing I'm really looking forward to is the panel discussion on the Bronco Mendenhall era. We had Legends last year where we talked with Steve Young and Ty Detmer and some of the real icons, and Lavelle Edwards of the BYU football program. Similar to that, now we're going to focus on the Bronco Mendenhall era, and I think it's going to be a really entertaining show for BYU fans to watch.
And after today, we'll keep prepping in July, and then come first week of August, True Blue starts up. A couple weeks later, we've got the Olympic sports starting up, and then football right away, August 30th.
Yeah, it'll be here before we know it, and we're already gearing up for it. As I said, we're working hard behind the scenes to raise the level on the quality of our broadcasts, and we have some few surprises in store for fans, including some enhanced graphics and some plans for social media that I think fans will really enjoy as they watch our season this year, and so we invite them to do that.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Michael. We'll let you get into the studio or the control room, wherever you're going to be getting ready for that show.